spy state is being erected around us, under which every American is being surveilled. Its scope is far-reaching, but its purpose well-defined. The police are every behavior and create a comprehensive profile on every one of us. Most Americans are woefully unaware of what's building up around them, its various facets that dot the landscape. Technology is the ultimate spy medium. By sifting through the publicly available information, poring over numerous cross-agency programs, and parsing techno-jargon, we glean the truth. All materials used and shown are cited. In fact, we encourage you to do your own research to verify what you see. Speculation is kept to a minimum. The majority of research is found within direct sources themselves. Intelligence gathering, in its simplest form, consists of overlapping layers, the foundation of which is given intelligence. That is, information we willingly supply, both privately and publicly. Beyond what's given is information taken, unbeknownst to us and from every angle. We break the spy state down into categories, starting from the most familiar then working towards the more abstract. All data collection and intelligence gathering falls into quadrants. Information we give and information that's taken from us in both the real and virtual worlds. Massive data storage centers are behind it all. In front is a layer of pseudo-law, spin, and propaganda. We readily give up plenty of personal information without a second thought. By allowing ourselves to become so familiar with technology, and often solely reliant, it's easy to become desensitized to the ever-present darker side ripe for exploitation. At the forefront of exploitation are internet giants like Facebook and Google.
Google plans to implement a new privacy policy that would aggregate information gleaned from Google searches, Gmail, YouTube, Google+, and more, all in one database. And you won't have the option of opting out. Instead of having more than 60 different privacy policies for Google products, there will be only one. The company says it's to better tailor search queries based on your interests. So if you put in the word pink, the search engine will know if you're talking the color pink or Pink the singer. Google on its website saying, quote, "Our new policy reflects our desire to create a simple product experience that does what you need when you want it to." But aggregating the information would allow for something else, for Google to better target ads.
Of course, Google spins the data mining operation. Google Now is their recent attempt to conceal this amalgamation of personal data, to ostensibly benefit the end user. But at what cost? In a 2010 interview, Google co-founder Eric Schmidt joked to the Wall Street Journal saying, "I actually think most people don't want Google to answer their questions. They want Google to tell them what they should be doing next." He goes on about how society cannot yet grasp the scope of personal data permanently collected, that in the future every youth will have to eventually change their name to hide their past. An interview with Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg is just as telling.
I want to get back, Mark, to this idea of the question that I asked you, this idea of this immense database. And I don't mean to present it as some kind of nefarious thing that you're sitting atop, but we know that Facebook has this incredible ability to say to an advertiser, you want to target 26-year-old women who like Bikram yoga, and we can get you there, which is amazing. Now, I trust you, and trust is your currency, and you're telling us to trust you, and we do, let's say. But what happens in 10 years, or 20 years, or 30 years, when you're not, let's say, in charge of the company, or your power is altered in the company, and somebody in the company decides to take that data about us, the information that we have volunteered and handed over, about our likes and dislikes, the music we listen to, our birth dates, who we're married to, what our kids' names are, and sells that information. What kind of guarantee is there that that won't happen?
Well, I just think it would be the stupidest thing we could possibly do.
But how
so you're not to be CEO or what? I mean,
no, I didn't say that.
How do you guarantee that
for no, I mean the internet. I mean, we're talking about how technology moves so quickly.
Although Facebook adamantly notes that you control who has access to your social profile, Zuckerberg omits how Facebook has total access to everything you share, and that they use the information routinely. In fact, he once remarked that you've only got one identity, eerily echoing Google's Eric Schmidt. An article in the Financial Times titled, "Facebook Reveals Secrets You Haven't Shared," exposes just that. It describes a groundbreaking scientific study that accurately predicted personal characteristics after analyzing a Facebook user's profile, highlighting concerns about the social network and how data trails can be mined for sensitive information, even when people attempt to keep it to themselves. Other popular businesses with a web presence also catalog information we readily divulge. The mind boggles at the scope of it all. There are many aspects to the information age. There are just as many in the info war being waged upon us. Through a number of digital mediums we are being observed, tracked, and analyzed, largely unaware by whom or to what end.
The government is making a record number of requests now for the private information of you from Google. That's according to data released by the search engine giant. What's more startling is that over half of these requests are made without warrants. So is it constitutional?
Everything is suspect, and this is just the tip of the spear. In actuality, there is no privacy. Internet companies and service providers have always worked hand in glove with federal authorities. The downfall of the FBI's Carnivore program developed the most involved public-private affiliation, something that the Bureau is now seeking to dissolve as they pursue a more one-sided relationship. Carnivore was an advanced packet-sniffing program used to monitor subjects' internet traffic. It was eventually replaced by something superior, able to better seek and exploit targets, wholly capable of operating independent of service providers, and moving into the NSA's territory.
Talk about what it was, what kind of information you are charged with keeping, and why you are called a whistleblower. What information did you want to get out? What were the problems you saw at the NSA, and how long did you work there?
At the NSA, I worked there for almost 7 years. Well, my first day on the job was 9/11, and it was shortly after 9/11 that I was exposed to the Pandora's box of illegality and government wrongdoing on a very significant scale. So you had the twin fraud, waste, the twin specters of fraud, waste, and abuse being committed on a vast scale through a program called Trailblazer, a multi-billion-dollar program, when in fact there was alternatives that already existed and fulfilled most all the requirements of Trailblazers, even prior to 9/11.
What did Trailblazer do?
Trailblazer was ostensibly the flagship program that Hayden said, we're going to go out to American industry and buy it. We're not going to make it. We're not going to take the best of American ingenuity and innovation. We're just simply going to go to the defense contractors and let them figure out how to meet the demands of the digital age. The digital age was a significant challenge for NSA. It was having great difficulty not only making sense of the vast streams of data that were pouring in from all over, but also figuring out what was going on. Essentially what was happening is NSA was going blind. It was going deaf.
The NSA's signature initiative, dubbed Turbulence, is mostly free from congressional oversight and endowed with a massive budget. It strengthens the NSA's snooping infrastructure with a goal of mapping social networks, embedding new technology to collect data and searching for patterns across hundreds of databases.
By the way, I viewed it as we never had enough data. Okay, we never got enough. It was never enough for us to work at, because I looked at velocity, variety, and volume as all positive things. Volume meant you got more about your target. Velocity meant you got it faster. Variety meant you got more aspects. These were all positive things. All we had to do was to devise a way to use and utilize all of those inputs and be able to make sense of them.
There is no such thing as privacy in a surveillance state?
Well, yes, that's what I've been basically saying for quite some time, is that the FBI has access to the data collected, which is basically the emails of virtually everybody in the country, and the FBI has access to it. All the congressional members are on this surveillance too. It's not, no one's excluded. They're all included. So yes, this can happen to anyone if they become a target for whatever reason. If they are targeted by the government can go in, or the FBI or other agencies of the government can go into that database, pull all that data they've collected on them over the years and reanalyze it all. So retroactively analyze everything they've done over the last 10 years at least.
And it's not just about those who could be planning, who could be a threat to national security, but also those who could be just...
It's everybody.
With corruption flourishing and perceived surveillance needs mounting, it's easy to see why the agency went astray. Now industry is rushing to accommodate the growth of a well-funded spy state. Directing many of the new innovations is the government's own research arm, DARPA. Their X-Data system aims to efficiently process and analyze complex troves of data, coupled with the ability to cope with an exponential volume of information. It will notably be capable of piecing together incomplete partial bits of data to present a more comprehensive intelligence mosaic. But is it enough for spy agencies to mine data from the farthest reaches of the World Wide Web? Apparently not. As the spy state bleeds over into the physical world, verbal communications and conversations are the newest target of interest. DARPA is working on a project that would be capable of storing every verbal conversation caught by technology. Its goal is accurate, automated transcription and cataloging of speakers. Its designer admits the need for we the people to provide microphones from which to record, and with the proliferation of smart technology, this is an obtainable wish. In addition is a program called Mind's Eye, seeking to create a truly smart camera that would be able to describe with words everything it sees, and reason about what it cannot see. Also consider the very real visual media reasoning program being developed to turn ad hoc media into true visual intelligence. Defining the who, what, where, and when of any given item, and adding a whole new dimension to the intelligence game.
As you know, Megan, when you get a cable box, right, you sign up for cable or satellite, they give you the set-top box that controls things like your DVR, your channel guide, and your on-demand movies. Well, now Verizon would like to throw a couple of other goodies in the mix, such as infrared cameras, sensors, even microphones, so they can detect things like the number of people who are in the room, the conversations those people are having, even the types of pets or objects that are in the room, right? The whole idea, as you said, is to target advertising based on what's happening at that very moment. Now, the sensors are so acute that if you're arguing, it would prompt an ad for counseling.
With smart meters equipped with RF chips, technology that allows power companies to monitor these devices without actually ever coming to your home. So just how smart are they? Well, not only do they rapidly record information by the hour, but they can determine just what type of energy you're using. Think about that for 1 second. It may not seem like too much intrusion, but consider this. Energy corporations will have precise data on your daily routines, when you wash your clothes, when you watch TV, when you leave your home, and when you come back. And if the notion that they know what you're doing and when you're doing it isn't disturbing enough, it gets worse.
It's certainly bringing the family together, and Big Brother is now closer than ever. It's almost as if your gaming console's watching you, opening up the potential for exploitation by any number of entities.
Well, security at home now, and questions about whether the CIA could spy on people through their refrigerators. There's this report out from Wired Magazine's national security blog that says the CIA Director David Petraeus recently spoke about smart technology in our homes, technology that connects a television or an oven to the internet. It's all supposed to make our lives easier, but Director Petraeus says spies could use that technology to keep an eye on people without their knowledge.
Smartphone use is on the rise, becoming a necessity ubiquitous in our society. Nielsen reveals that 62% of Generation Y owns a smartphone, but the fastest growing age group are people 55 to 64. And the next wave of personal smart technology is just over the horizon.
this position that you just saw me in, looking down my phone, it's one of the reasons behind this project, Project Glass, because we ultimately question whether this is, the ultimate future of how you want to connect to other people in your life, how you want to connect to information. Should it be by just walking around, looking down? I can see many of you doing that right now because this talk is too boring. Sorry, but that was the vision behind Glass, and that's why we've created this form factor. Okay, but we've come a long way, and the other really unexpected surprise was the camera. Our original prototypes didn't have cameras at all, but it's been really magical to be able to capture moments spent with my family, my kids. I just never would have dug out a camera or a phone or something else to take that moment, on the swing, playing, in the air, whatever situation it would have been on.
Okay, Glass, record a video.
This is it. We're on in 2 minutes.
Okay, Glass, hang out with the Flying Club.
Google photos of tiger heads.
You ready?
We're already conditioned to willingly wear smart gear to monitor and track various aspects of our lives. Soon, wearable devices will know our exact patterns and routine behaviors. Companies are figuring out how to stick microchips in practically everything. This article on the Financial Times concludes that the next step after wearable technology is ingestibles. Besides progressing towards internal smart technology, we are allowing it to be fixed to everything around us.
Soon, though, there may be a controversial and mandatory new feature, the ability to spy on your every move. ABC's Mark Greenblatt is on the story. Mark, good morning.
Well, good morning to you. Some call this plan sneaky. Others say it'll improve safety. But now the government wants to make it mandatory for your car to get one of those so-called black boxes, like they have in airplanes, that can tell all if you get into a crash.
Smart technology is becoming a staple in modern American society. We are overwhelmed by it all, often underestimating the true capabilities and real extent of its reach. New York City is the vanguard of the spy state, a testing ground for sweeping future agendas.
Good morning. If you constantly feel like you're being watched, chances are you probably are, at least if you're on the streets here in New York City. And it may not end with those mounted cameras you see up and around the city here. There is talk now of possibly using drones. You've seen the cameras attached to light poles around New York City streets, a constant reminder that someone is always watching.
Everybody wants their privacy, but I don't know how you're going to maintain it.
And Mayor Bloomberg says it seems it may not end with mounted cameras.
It's just we're going into a different world, uncharted, and like it or not, what people can do or governments can do is different, and you can to some extent control, but you can't keep the tides from coming in.
And what the tide may be bringing in are drones, unmanned aircraft that can shoot live video.
Congress you love so much just passed a bill which the president is expected to sign into law. It orders the Federal Aviation Administration to come up with new regulations to test and license drone aircraft for use in American airspace by the year 2015. The agency officials say, guess how many? 30,000 of them could be ready to launch by 2020. 30,000. Critics say the drones do pose risks and to public safety and personal privacy.
Well, I don't know the reports to which you refer, but right now we use and are using the UAVs along the borders, and they are a force multiplier for us.
While a spokesman did not expand on the Secretary's comments, these documents from Homeland Security's Procurement Office show they are soliciting industry input for something called wide area aerial surveillance. Quote, to provide persistent long-term surveillance over urban and rural terrain.
Understand our personal right to privacy is being sacrificed at the altar of national security.
And here's the best part. The searches are allowed to be completely suspicionless.
and they apply to anyone within a 100-mile radius of the borders. So do you see that red line that's going around the map? Well, if you're within that zone, like Milwaukee or Los Angeles or Seattle, your cell phone and laptop and other electronic devices can be searched without a cause.
The Department of Homeland Security is currently merging advanced spy technology with their UAV fleet. CNET reports that custom Predator drones built for the department incorporate surveillance technology designed specifically to identify armed individuals, even at night, while monitoring their smart device communications. Fold this into the visual media reasoning program and the possibilities are truly mind-boggling. A promotional video for the drone tech is being shopped around with increased interest by federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies. And again, on the cutting edge of surveillance technology is DARPA. Recall the DHS's goal of a wide area aerial surveillance system, then consider the following advances in related programs. DARPA seeks a portable hi-fi system to link all air and ground platforms, a connection capable of streaming large amounts of vital data between assets they deem essential to match the increasing data-heavy technologies in the field. The linchpin of comprehensive aerial surveillance is the Argus system, a legacy program of Gorgon Stare. A DARPA contractor created the 1.8 billion pixel Argus IS surveillance camera that creates an area persistent stare. The camera is made to conveniently fit in unmanned aerial vehicles. It is able to record every object in motion across entire cities.
That some of these capabilities exist.
Engineer Yanis Antoniadis designed the new sensor, known as Argus. With 1.8 billion pixels, it's the world's highest resolution camera. Argus fits inside this pod that attaches to the belly of a UAV. But because much of the work is classified, we can't see the sensor itself.
Because we are not allowed to expose some of the pieces that make up the sensors, so you get to look at pretty plastic curtains.
Also known as wide area persistent stare, Argus is the equivalent of having up to 100 predators look at an area the size of a medium-sized city at once. This image was taken 17,500 feet above Quantico, Virginia, and covers 15 square miles.
This whole image is at a very, very fine resolution. So if we wanted to know what is going on in any spot along this image, say near this building at this intersection, we can generate a moving image that shows what's going on in the area.
Simply by touching the screen, Antoniadis has opened up a window showing a detailed area, while still maintaining the broader context.
And everything that is a moving object is being automatically tracked. The color boxes represent that the computer has recognized the moving objects. You can see individuals crossing the street. You can see individuals walking in parking lots. There's actually enough resolution to be able to see the people waving their arms or walking around, what kind of clothes they wear. And you could pick the location of where you produce these images anywhere in the entire field of view.
Antoniadis can open up to 65 windows at once and can see objects as small as 6 inches on the ground.
Combine this technology with facial recognition software linked to detailed databases stocked with data we willingly give up.
Iris scans are like a high-tech fingerprint, but much faster. Officials can quickly identify anyone whose unique scan is on the database. The technology is becoming increasingly useful as a tracking tool in the U.S. In the virtual world of tweets, Facebook posts, and search engines, every internet user is defined by a data footprint. If you think anonymous comments and blogs are protected, think again. Through the use of what's called forensic linguistics, U.S. investigators can now uncover whose fingers are behind every single keystroke. The digital data trail of every American will soon be connected to a massive building in Utah. A $2 billion data center is reportedly being constructed for the U.S. National Security Agency. The complex will allegedly be able to collect, analyze, and store all forms of personal communication, including online purchases, cell calls, Google searches, and yes, private messages.
The backbone of the spy state is abundant storage. All surveillance feeds into such linked data centers, where every individual's digital and physical footprint is tracked, profiled, then saved. The breadth of intelligence gathered is so large that the NSA's Utah Center is necessary to meet the exponential demands of future data collection, one where an unprecedented yottabyte is needed to store it all. Congressman Kucinich had several choice words for the NSA's tactics. Quote, "The NSA doesn't need a warrant to record your most private conversations. They have managed to circumvent our privacy laws because they define an intercept as a piece of information read by an agent." The entire spy state is only possible because of unconstitutional laws and media-pushed propaganda.
When I went through the process of becoming press secretary, one of the first things they told me was, you're not even to acknowledge the drone program. You're not even to discuss that it exists. Wow. And so I would get a question like that, and literally I couldn't tell you what Major asked, because once I figured out it was about the drone program, I realized I'm not supposed to talk about it. But here's what's inherently crazy about that proposition. You're being asked a question based on reporting of a program that exists. Right. So you're the official government spokesperson acting as if the entire program, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
But the fundamental question is still as powerful as it was then.
Absolutely.
And what is protecting us, to be blunt, from you?
Yeah. Well, I can give you easy answers, but probably won't satisfy everyone in the room. All right. As I said about the workforce at CIA, they're your friends and neighbors. So are the people in NSA. I mean, these are Americans. All right. They come from the same political culture. Now, I understand our Constitution is based on the principle of don't trust anyone. I mean,
we've also had plenty of scandals in this country where people from the same political culture have done bad things.
Right. No, freely admit, history tells us that story.
The Obama administration is drawing up plans to give all U.S. spy agencies full access to a massive database that contains financial data on American citizens and others who bank in the country, according to a Treasury Department document seen by Reuters.
I am not a dictator. I'm the president.
That's not stopping the Obama administration from advocating warrantless GPS tracking, or to challenge your surveillance under the spy state in the highest court. Ironically, you must have classified proof you're being spied on to stop it. Proof that by its very nature is unattainable.
Some things you should know about FISA. The law allows the NSA to wiretap conversations of U.S. citizens' phones without a warrant. It was first signed into law in 1978, and the Supreme Court ruling today means lawyers cannot challenge the law in federal court.
Intricate connections and total integration of emerging technology creates the spy state, our own prison under an all-seeing eye, and its endgame is on par with science fiction. The Mind's Eye program seeks to develop the capability for visual intelligence by automating the ability to learn action between objects in a scene directly from visual inputs, and then reason over those learned representations. Additional work involves improving precision and accuracy, filling temporal gaps, and answering what just happened and what might happen next. Fulfilling the Orwellian proverb of, "He who controls the past controls the future." I've laid out their blueprint for a spy state. The architecture is comprehensive and clear. Its construction is underway in the shadows. As it's being built, many remain unaware. When completed, the structure will stay shrouded, insulated by law and obfuscated by disinformation. Because they know, the best way to control a population and to conquer a people is by understanding it enough, every minute in detail, to profile everyone, then predict what they do before they actually do it. So, what comes next?
express the same things, but with different words. We acknowledge the same curve, and those might have hurts. Just like the last line you draw to remind a past time. A fast-minded feeling of freedom, please you be recognized. And I can hear your doctors calling from here to say, kill bias, independency, and I'll kill the seal. Cause the young himself is stealthy mass appeal. Where's my muse? Where's my muse? If it's like every word slipping through my mouth has been used. Staggering like the old man feeding a third. With my past I reflecting half the things that I've learned. A windowless frame in a transparent room, filling up cracks with plastic assumes. Shape shift, nuance, venue. Don't stop dreaming cause this ain't over. Wreck up your life until you get sober. Don't stop dreaming cause this ain't over, my friend. Don't stop dreaming cause this ain't over. Break up your life until you get sober. Don't stop dreaming cause this ain't over, my friend. I've risen myself as I walk along the weary, moldy watching. I found myself staring, building up an empire of my great desire. Well, the fumes from my thought process takes me higher, higher and higher. Ain't stopping there. My avalanche of color starts over there, and I've got the solitary key to go through. Ray and delicious, but traps can be so vicious. Prepare for the ultimate takedown. Part-time experience might save you from deliverance, but will it serve the greater cause? Break up your life until you get sober. Don't stop